his Bulldogs, as well as an SEC crown and a trip to the Sugar Bowl. The Tigers, who are averaging 38 points a game, were led by running back Brent Fullwood. Meanwhile, 6-3 Georgia was hoping to salvage its season with an upset of its arch rival. However, with starting quarterback James Jackson at his grandmother's funeral, reserve quarterback Wayne Johnson would lead the Bulldogs and hand off to star running back Lars Tate. Both schools have had their share of rushing greats over the years. Auburn stars include NFL standouts Joe Cribbs and James Brooks, as well as two-sport legend and 1985 Heisman Trophy winner Bo Jackson. Not to be outdone, the Bulldogs had their own Heisman winner in 1982 with Herschel Walker. Rodney Hampton went on to set the all-time rushing mark with the New York Giants, and Terrell Davis starred in Denver on the Broncos Super Bowl teams. Heading into this contest, the series was tied at 41, 41, and 7. Coming up later, we'll profile Auburn coach Pat Dye. But now we present the 1986 matchup of SEC rivals Georgia and Auburn right here on ESPN Classic.
As the balloons now take flight.
This is Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama, and a sellout crowd of 72,500 has come to see the 8th-ranked Tigers continue their drive to the Sugar Bowl. Standing in their way tonight, the Bulldogs of Georgia.
And now
Vince Dooley on the sideline, the Georgia coach in his 23rd year. As you see, an Auburn graduate. He's won 181 games, lost 70, and tied 10. One national championship, 6 Southeastern Conference titles to his credit. On the opposite sideline, the head coach of the Auburn Tigers, Pat Dye. 6th year, 50 wins, 19 losses here at Auburn. He has done a great job. And he has them on the verge of a shot at least at the SEC title again. Steve Crumley, a straightaway place kicker, will kick to Fullwood, standing at the 2-yard line. Fullwood at the 6. And he's tripped up as he reaches the 26. A 20-yard return for Brent Fullwood on the opening kickoff. This is quarterback Jeff Berger. He'll lead an offense that's averaging 38 points a game. He's hitting better than 56% of his passes. More often than not, Berger will give the ball to Brent Fullwood, one of the best runners in the country. We'll see several other backs and receivers all solid. The line is not big, but it's good, anchored by All-American Ben Tamburello. They'll start in the eye with A.G. up front. Gaines is the man in motion. And Berger to throw to Gaines in the flat. They tried the quick screen, but the defense got out there too fast. Defense is where Georgia has had problems this year, especially up front. They lack experience and depth. The linebackers, Brantley and Boswell, are very good against the run. Changes in the secondary. All-American John Little is injured. Will probably play some tonight, but was not expected to start. You've got Miles Smith, number 2, in his spot. Second down, 10 yards to go. Fullwood on the delay. Big hole up the middle to the 38-yard line. Greg Williams, the left cornerback, had to make the stop.
yards and an Auburn first down at the Tigers 38.
Fullwood is an exceptional running back, averaging 9.1 yards a carry. You'd like to get it to him as much as you can, Pat.
Well, he did a nice job right there. Tamburello pulled out the defensive tackle. He broke it right up the gut.
Berger on the play fake. Now he dumps it off in the flat, and A.G. couldn't hold it at the 40-yard line. Coming up quickly from the secondary was the rover back Will Jones.
Mike, I think we see Auburn's offensive game plan coming into play here. They want to throw the ball on first down when they can. Little play action. Right now they're dumping the ball off to some short people. I said earlier they want to give Berger some confidence. They will go downfield later. They can set up that running game with some of these play action passes early. It'll help them.
2nd and 10 for Auburn. They'll switch the tight end Walter Reeves to the far side. He's number 86. Fullwood on the delay, and he tripped. May have tripped over his own man, Vincent Jones, number 57. His left guard who was blocking for him, and it looked like Fullwood just caught his ankle.
One of the worries of this Auburn team are their guards are very light, Jones and Cowart. Now they're going to try to run up the middle right here. You can see the center. Tamburello takes his man out of the play, and now Fullwood will just fall down. But that would have only been a 4 or 5 yard gain. They've got to get those backers out of the play. They make most of the tackles for Georgia.
Scott Bolton, number 24, number 29, Duke Donaldson are the wide receivers. They want the screen, but Georgia has it defensed well. They threw it for Fullwood, but standing out there in the middle of it was Aaron Chubb, number 28. Brian Schulman will now have to come in and punt it away. And a great job by the Georgia defense on that opening series. There's Schulman averaging 44.1 yards a punt.
Mike, they're taking away those short passes outside. They're eventually going to have to go back over the middle. That's where Georgia will be vulnerable in the pass.
Fred Lane, the deep man, standing at his own 20. Pretty punt by Schulman, hangs it high. Lane from the 20. Trying to get outside and can't, gets to the 25-yard line. 40-yard punt and a 4-yard return. The quarterback starting the game for Georgia, Wayne Johnson, a sophomore who started the first 3 games last season, has played very little since then. He's in there for the injured James Jackson. We'll see several backs headed by Lars Tate. The receivers have the speed to get deep and keep the defense honest. The strength of the interior line is at tackle, especially with Strozier. Johnson is a pro-style quarterback. He'll give it off to Tate, who burrows into the center of that Auburn defense. And the defense is one of the best of the country. Tracy Rocker and Andre Bruce especially can really disrupt an offensive setup. The linebackers are 1-2 in tackles in that 5-2 setup. Crane has been the leader. The pass defense has come up with 21 interceptions in 9 ball games. Gain of 3 on the first play. Tate and McCluskey, 32 and 43, the running backs. Play action. Johnson rifles it over the middle, almost intercepted right through the hands of Shan Morris, the free safety. Well, he had a lot on the ball, Pat, but it went to the wrong guy.
Well, he had a lot of time, too, which is the key right here. It was a nice play action. They set it up for a second down play, but he had nobody open. He forced this ball, which the quarterback that hasn't played a lot does this a lot of times. Actually, there's 3 defenders that were in that, were going to come into that picture. The safety would have taken the ball away over the middle. He can't force the ball. They cannot afford turnovers against this Auburn team.
To show you how inexperienced Johnson is, that was only his 5th pass of the season. He has completed 1 and had 1 interception. And they'll give it to Tate on the ground, and Tate is buried at the 30-yard line. Andre Bruce, number 93, one of the tacklers in there, and they will have to kick it away. Chris Carpenter will punt, and Trey Gaines will drop back to his own 25-yard line. Carpenter also averaging 44.1 yards a kick. Pretty punt by Carpenter, drives Gaines all the way back to the 17-yard line. Trying to get to the near side, and he'll lose a yard on the return. A 52-yard kick, -2 on the return as Warner is down there to make the tackle. That is War Eagle 6. His name is Tiger, and he is watching a 0-0 game from Auburn, Alabama.
There is now no doubt the revolution in resolution is here today. Nothing captures the high-definition viewing experience like ESPN HD. Top events like the NBA and NFL in widescreen picture window clarity. Look at this. Are you kidding? Coming January 6th, the revolution continues with the debut of ESPN2 HD. Top events like Major League Baseball. Sports so real you'll want to steal a sign. take it to the hoop, or go in for 6. And in the coming months, ESPN HD plus ESPN2 HD will feature over 300 originally produced live events in high definition. If you have an HD TV, get ESPN HD today and get ready for ESPN2 HD. If not, it's time to step up. Way above the rim. ESPN HD, the big picture in sports. Call your cable operator or satellite provider today. Presented by Philips and Best Buy.
I hate being sold. If I want something, I'll buy it. If I don't, okay. One time I got talked into buying this linen bed skirt. It's a sales girl. But something that costs thousands of dollars? I don't want to be sold something like that. I want to choose something like that. I hate being sold. That's why I bought a Saturn.
Now most Saturn models come with 5-year, 60,000-mile extended vehicle coverage or at least a $1,000 allowance.
You're watching a 1986 SEC matchup featuring the Georgia Bulldogs and the Auburn Tigers right here on ESPN Classic.
Each team has had one possession, no blood, nothing. First quarter, 11-22, and Auburn backed up at its own 16-yard line. Interesting game plan that Auburn has coming into this ball game, Pat. They feel they have to throw more than they have against other teams, I think because they think Georgia is better. They'll give it to Fullwood on the toss. This is the bread and butter. And Fullwood over the 20, 30, 35, 40, 42-yard line. And remember what I said to you earlier this week? Why do they want to throw when they've got Fullwood?
Well, I think they want to set up the running game, but I have to agree with you. This running game looks pretty awesome here. Brent Fullwood, what makes him so special besides his speed and the people blocking for him is his balance. Now watch this. Unbelievable. He keeps his balance there. And now he regains his speed. There are very few backs in the country who can do that. Just breaks tackles and keeps going forward.
He already has 39 yards rushing, and Tim Jesse, number 25, will come in and replace him with tailback on first down. They give it to Agee, and Agee across the 45, maybe to the 46-yard line. We're going to have an apology to Tommy Agee. We said Tommy Agee, the baseball player, was his dad. Of course, he is not. We apologize to Tommy for that and to his parents.
Well, let's watch Tamburello take on Harris in this play. This is a big matchup in this game. They'll have a lot to do with this running game. Now he just took a side and he actually got beat on that. That was a nice play by Harris. Tamburello extended himself and he cut back underneath. If he can handle Tamburello, they're going to stop this running game outside.
2nd and 6. Berger to throw. 4-man rush, plenty of time. Deep sideline. And it's out of bounds. Out of bounds at the 45-yard line. They were throwing for number 29, Duke Donaldson. And it looked like Berger led him by maybe a half a step too much.
These are the type of passes they want to complete. Deeper routes down the field. This looked like an excellent throw. The question is, did he get that foot down? Nice call by the officials.
Sure was.
You know, a lot of times receivers will take off in midair and they really don't need to. I don't know that he really needed to jump that high or that far, because once you take off, it's amazing how far your body will carry. Your momentum will bring you out of bounds. You should try to reach up whenever possible near the sidelines.
Vincent Harris checks in at fullback. He's number 21 on third, and a passing down. They go the draw to Jesse. Boswell and Brantley make the tackle.
There are no passing downs in this running team.
Apparently not. Jesse, what a weapon to be able to bring off the bench. They got another kid by the name of James Joseph they can put in at tailback.
You know, Mike, one thing you brought up was why they're starting to run the ball, but I think they're in a transitional period at Auburn. They know they're not going to have Bo Jacksons and Brent Fullwoods the rest of the decade. They need to start having a passing game. They're not bigger and stronger than everyone in the SEC, so they're going to have to start changing. That's why they brought Pat Sullivan in. I think they're doing a nice job with it.
Well, I think, too, Pat, and you see the measurement, it's going to be just shy, bringing up a 4th and inches situation. If you are going to compete for an SEC championship, a national championship, you can't be a one-dimensional football team.
Not any longer. And Pat Dye, there is Pat Dye right on the sidelines. He was smart enough to go out and get the people to change this offense. And
yes,
I know that they're recruiting heavily around the country. And unbelievably, they are going for drop-back quarterbacks.
They're recruiting heavily in Georgia, too. And look at this. Auburn out to go for it. On 4th and inches from the Georgia 48, early first quarter. Reggie Ware, number 36, in the middle of that full house backfield. They love to give it to him in short yardage, and he's got it. And it looks like he has the first down. Reggie Ware is their short yardage man. He has 10 touchdowns on the ground this year, and his long run is 13 yards. He's not going to have much of an average the way he comes in there.
Well, Ware is a big fullback. He carries the ball well on short yardage, and they go into this unbalanced line. They have a lot of big people over there, and his second effort just gives him the first down. Actually, Georgia did an excellent job right there to stop him. Almost held him from the first down.
1st and 10, just outside the Georgia 46-yard line. Fullwood is back in there at tailback. Harris, number 21, is the fullback. The blitz, and they dump it over the middle of Fullwood. That is his second pass reception of the season, and he's down to the Georgia 39-yard line. Aaron Chubb in on the tackle right now. Let's go down to the sideline and Tim Brando. Tim?
Well, on the Georgia sidelines, Mike, there is still no sign of James Jackson. Now, we talked to Vince Dooley earlier. He said he thought Jackson might get here at some time, but even if he got here, it would be likely he would not play. He would have to go with Wayne Johnson, and Johnson has been taking all the snaps all week long.
Thank you, Tim. 9 minutes to go. First quarter, nothing. This is a good drive going for Auburn. Forward. Straight up the middle, found a big seam, keeps his feet for another first down to the Georgia 27.
Well, we've already seen the ability of Auburn to go outside with Fullwood, and he goes inside very well. That's the second run he's had tonight, over 10 yards, right up the gut. Tamburillo just takes Harris right out of the play. Now you have to remember again, he's a man outside of him. He has to move, snap the ball, and move over a couple yards to get him. Now watch, Fullwood just cut right behind the block, right inside. That's what he does so well. He reads the blocks. He's strong enough to go inside and fast enough to go outside.
They'll go up the middle this time, down to about the 22-yard line.
On the next Cheap Seats.
A fat tranny in hot pants. Who's your granddaddy? Who's your granddaddy?
Roller Games, 10 Eastern tonight on ESPN Classic.
All of my fantasies are coming true, but I can't believe it. Wait a minute, I'm losing fake control here.
If you know football, you know Lawrence Taylor, one of the most fearsome players ever.
There was no one better.
So what did Mike Wallace say to this big tough guy that made him cry? 60 Minutes on Classic, 8 p.m. Tuesday on ESPN Classic.
As a proud Earthlink employee, I swear I'll do my part to help protect you from the bad internet.
I promise to hate pop-up ads as much as you do.
I promise we're going to give you good tools to protect your children.
And I promise we won't rest until your inbox is free of spam emails like Hot Girls Want You and Why Be Bald.
Free blocking tools, free protection features. That's better internet. Call now and get 6 months of dial-up at half price.
I go out and I look for ways to stop viruses and scams and spyware and all the stuff that's going on your machine.
We just sit there and create new technologies every day to help people go on the internet, and that's really exciting to me.
So you can expect that we're going to help you. We're going to take your problem and treat it like it's our problem, and we're going to work it until it's solved.
I promise. I promise.
More access options, free blocking tools. That's better internet. Right now, get 6 months of dial-up at half price featuring Earthlink Accelerator. Call 800-217-0702 or visit these retailers. Earthlink revolves around you.
You're watching a 1986 SEC matchup featuring the Georgia Bulldogs and the Auburn Tigers right here on ESPN Classic.
Second down, 5 yards to go for Auburn. Jesse on the toss behind Harris. And Boswell has him at the 21-yard line. Georgia's problem has been on defense this year. It's unusual to look at a Vince Dooley football team that has trouble stopping people.
Well, to be honest with you, I think they've been out-recruited for a couple of years, and it's finally caught up to them. They just don't have the big people. A couple of excellent players they had. Henry Harris has been hurt a lot this year, and John Little, they're all SEC safety. They had to move him from overback to safety. He's been dinged up the whole year. He's not playing so far tonight.
No, he's not in there, and when you have when you're small, inexperienced, and not too fast, you got problems. Fullwood driving near the first down. He had to reach the 17-yard line. We'll wait and see where the mark is. interesting about Fullwood. They feel he's going to be a good receiver. They simply haven't thrown him the ball very much, and if you don't get a chance to catch it too much, you're never going to have the chance to develop yourself.
And he's going to have to develop that skill very quickly to excel in the NFL. You have to be able to catch and run there. You know, that's what's interesting. They seldom got the ball to Bo Jackson. You know, someone like Brent Fullwood, you think they'd change their philosophy a little bit, and they just haven't done it.
It is a first down, the fourth of this drive. It's a first down for Auburn at the Georgia 17-yard line. Fullwood. And they kept the great contain that time, and it was number 3, Gary Moss, the right corner, who came up. He was lined up in the left corner that time and simply wouldn't let Fullwood outside. There's Pat Sullivan with a headset on next to head coach Pat Dye. Boy, could Sullivan throw it. Holy cow, what a great quarterback he was.
Well, he broke a lot of hearts in the Ivy League when he got the Heisman Trophy over Ed Marinero. Mourning in the East.
Yeah, but when you guys mourned, you just went to the library.
Every morning.
2nd and 9, Auburn. Jesse somehow got through there inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Dropped by Miles Smith, the 5'11 junior who is starting at the safety position tonight.
Well, Tim Jesse's averaging 4.7 this year, so he's no slack when he gets to the backfield. He scored 3 touchdowns. He also has good balance. And the key, again, they have such an excellent line. They take on people, they open up their backs and give them some room to keep their balance and go north and south. And that's what the tailbacks do so well for Auburn. They run the ball toward the other goal line.
3rd and short, they'll go with the full house backfield again. Keep your eye on number 36, Reggie Ware. Instead, they'll toss it to Fullwood. Fullwood's got the first down inside the 5 to the 4. It is 1st and goal, Auburn. Funny about game plans. Auburn had planned all week to come out and throw the football, and this drive they have simply run it down their throat.
Well, that's good coaching when you make that adjustment. And another thing they do so well, these short yardage and the goal line, they're so strong with having 2 tackles on that unbalanced line. It's awfully difficult to stop them. And they're going to start mixing in that pass later and be that much tougher.
Reggie Ware, touchdown Auburn. Reggie Ware gets his 11th rushing touchdown of the season, and Auburn is on top 6-0. Chris Knapp will come on to try the point after. He has been perfect this year. 45 out of 45. He's missed only 1 in his career. He hooked that one a little bit, but he got it through.
Well, you know you have a good running game when you have a specialist that just scores touchdowns for you. They open up the defense. Here, cut back, and he's just so strong. He stays very low, keeps his legs moving, falls in the end zone.
With 5 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the first quarter, our score, Auburn 7 and Georgia nothing.
So what's this about our Guinness again?
I've discovered that Guinness Draft has only 125 calories.
Only 125 calories? Brilliant! What else have you been up to?
I've invented this little book. It's black. You put women's phone numbers in it.
A little black book? Brilliant!
Come here often. You can also use it as a coaster.
A coaster? Brilliant!
Brilliant!
Guinness Draft has only 125 calories. Enjoy it responsibly.
Brilliant!
Good morning. At Geico, we're all about happy customers. In fact, our customer satisfaction is at 97%. But to get the other 3%, my friend and I are going door to door across America. So the witch said, "Come here, my pretty little darlings, and look at my small car insurance bill." That slays me. We're on our way to 100% satisfaction.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
The king isn't born, Alexander. He's made by steel and by suffering.
The first rule of war is to do what you asked your men to do. Conquer your fear, and you'll conquer death.
Never will there be an Alexander like you, Alexander the Great.
I see her in your eye. Oh, no, son of mine!
It takes strong men to rule.
All you desire, the world is yours.
Alexander, directed by Oliver Stone, rated R.
When Pat Dye took the reins at Auburn in 1981, the football program was inconsistent at best. From 1976 to 80, the Tigers had won only 52% of its games, with the best season coming in 1979 with an 8-3 record. A year later, the school faltered at 5-6, and Dye was hired to get the program back on track. With more on Pat Dye's arrival, here's Ron Gulnick with his Vintage Sports Center report from 1981.
Pat Dye has won 54 games while losing just 23 in 7 years of coaching at East Carolina and Wyoming, and along the way he knocked off some national powers like North Carolina and North Carolina State. He played for Wally Butts at Georgia and coached under Bear Bryant at Alabama, so he knows what it takes to win. Dye is now at Auburn, where he's looking to get the Tigers back on the right track. Those close to the scene are impressed with Dye, especially former Heisman Trophy winner and ex-Auburn quarterback Pat Sullivan.
There's no doubt in my mind that he's going to bring Auburn football to heights maybe it's never seen. And I really believe that, and I'm not just saying it. I think he's a tremendous motivator. I think he's very well organized. He's hired a great staff, and I just look for great things.
You know, I believe in discipline. I think I don't know about being a motivator. I think that hungry people are self-motivated, and I want hungry people around me, and people that want to be successful, and people that winning means something to, and people that have pride in themselves as individuals.
Dye has been using spring practice to change offense and defensive alignments. The Tigers will sport a new look in the fall when they switch to the wishbone attack. From Auburn, Alabama, for ESPN, this is Ron Gulnick.
During his 12 seasons at Auburn, Pat Dye won 99 games and 4 SEC titles. Later, we'll profile Georgia coaching legend Vince Dooley, but right now let's continue with the 1986 showdown between Georgia and Auburn on ESPN Classic.
Here's a good look at Reggie Ware, who has put Auburn on top 7-0 with his short touchdown run. And the favorite Tigers have the lead. Chris Knapp will kick it away, and deep to receive, Fred Lane, number 4, and Nathaniel Lewis, number 8. Lewis to the near side. Lane is averaging almost 30 yards a kickoff return, but it's Lewis from the 7. And driven out of bounds hard at the 25. Pat, let's take a look at the last touchdown.
Right on your left of your screen here, you'll be able to see they're short on this side, but 86 right on the left of your screen is going to come down and double the nose tackle right there with his hands, and that helps the guard Cowart. Now he'll come and pick up Boswell, the linebacker, and that frees him to fall into the end zone because no one man's going to stop Reggie Ware. He just carried him in.
There's the scoring drive. Impressive it was, covering 84 yards and taking more than 6 minutes off the first quarter clock. Lane Johnson is the quarterback, has played sparingly since the first 3 games in 1985. And he'll give it off this time to David McCluskey, number 43, is fullback, and McCluskey slugs it out for a couple of yards up the middle. Edward Phillips, number 46, off the bottom of the pile. There are McCluskey's numbers. He has been alternating with Henderson, who has had a knee injury. Second and 6. Johnson straight back, under pressure, wants to screen it, and does to Tate. Defense very well by Auburn, but he almost got the first down nonetheless. The tackle by Kurt Crane, the inside linebacker, number 39.
Well, Tracy Rocker is a potential All-American, number 74, top of your screen. Now he thinks he's going to get a sack here, but it's a screen. Now he's going to try to run the play down. That's what's special about him. He has great speed for his size, and he just hustles all over the field, which is, you know, the best trait a defensive lineman can have is pursuit, strength and pursuit.
3rd and a yard for Georgia. 7-man front for Auburn on defense. Berry is the man in motion. Tate on the sweep, got outside, first down, and driven out of bounds shy of the 40-yard line. Unusual to see a team go outside on a short yardage situation.
Well, they ran into the short side of the field, too, which even makes it tougher. Now, right now, I think they have to go to some play action on first down. I know going into the game they had planned on doing it. Now, they had to change their quarterbacks, but really this plays into Wayne Johnson's strength. Fake it, fake that ball up the gut where they've been running on first down, drop down, back, and throw the ball downfield to the receivers, particularly across the middle.
Well, the regular quarterback, Jackson, because of his grandmother's death, was apparently given the option by Vince Dooley to come tonight or to stay in Camilla, Georgia, and they have not seen him yet. Johnson guns it over the middle to Osborne and complete at the Auburn 44-yard line.
Well, they might hire me as offensive coordinator right here.
Nah.
This is a nice call. First down. It wasn't a play action, just a straight drop back, but they're going to go across the middle. Osborne's an excellent receiver, and this is a bullet. He can drill this ball right between 3 defenders. Nice throw.
And Johnson watching. Yes, sir. Young man does have an arm, doesn't he? His second completion of the season. Make it his third as he had hit a screen pass. They give it off to Tate. Tate runs over one tackler. He gets down to the 39-yard line. He ran over Brian Smith, number 90, Kirk Crane, and came in and helped out on the stop. Tate is 209 pounds out of Indianapolis. In high school, he broke all of Robert Levette's high school rushing marks. Levette went on to star at Georgia Tech and now with the Dallas Cowboys. He's not in a great spot for a running back, though, behind Herschel and Tony, huh? Gonna have to wait till he's 50 to get the play. 2nd and 5. And they'll go with a fullback, McCluskey, down to the 37-yard line. Nate Hill, number 99, who alternates with Ron Stallworth, 92, at a right defensive tackle position in the stop.
And this is where Auburn is so tough on these 3rd and 4s and 5s because they're so strong with their front 3. Their linebackers are so active, and their secondary is very confident.
Part of that sellout crowd of 72,500, and they are doing a renovation on the stadium here. They'll be up to 85,000 by the start of next year, and just a beautiful place to see a football game. 3rd and 2. Tate on the sweep. Cut it back. 30. 25, 24-yard line. First down, Georgia. Tim Worley, the other tailback, the man that alternated with him, is out for the season with a knee injury, so it's been all up to Large Tate.
Well, this is the second time they've gone outside to him. You pointed it out the first time. Short yardage, they're going outside. They have a lot of confidence in their fullbacks blocking, and their tackle, Wilbur Strozier, really opened this play, and he broke the tackle and cuts back here. Had he got right there, had he gone straight, he might have scored. I'm not a running back. I can't tell him what to do, but one cut too many, in my opinion.
Nice block by David McCluskey. Excellent kick-out block to let him cut back where there was room to run. Johnson, under pressure, he'll run it. Inside the 20 to about the 19-yard line. Good job by Johnson to get 5 yards out of a potential sack. Andre Bruce was a man who was applying pressure from the outside.
Well, that's a type of play they designed. They put in the offense for someone like James Jackson, their quarterback, who isn't playing this evening. Very quick, very good runner. But actually, Wayne did a nice job turning that ball up. He saw he didn't have a receiver. He kind of lumbered along for 4 or 5 yards. Nice job.
And it's 2nd and 6. They'll give him 4 on the carry, mark it at the 20. Auburn leading 7-0 with 1:05 to go first quarter. Auburn showing blitz. They come with 5 men. Lars Tate breaks it up the middle, very close to the first down. They'll stop him at the 10, about a yard shy. Tate, as you see the numbers in the first quarter, 32 yards. He's had 3 straight 100-yard games after Worley went down with an injury, and the first Georgia running back since Herschel Walker to have 3 straight 100-yard games. He's a good one, and a junior. 3rd in the yard. Let's see if they try to go outside again, Pat. They've done it 2 consecutive times on 3rd and short. Quarterback sneak. And Johnson inside the 19. Looks like he has plenty for the first down. Well, that's the way offenses are designed. They run outside a couple of times, maybe loosen the middle up a little bit.
Well, that was a very nice first down. They went outside, they went inside, and they picked it up with the quarterback. That's mixing it up well.
Auburn had a sustained drive to score, and now Georgia has come back with their 5th first down on this drive. And we're going to have time run out in the first quarter. You see Vince Dooley, he doesn't want him to snap the ball again as we're down to 3 seconds. He wants to be able to talk it over before the second quarter. And that is the end of the first period. Our score, Auburn 7 and Georgia nothing.
For the past few years, my mom has been the team mom. She likes to knit a lot. She watches very closely what we eat.
Boys, what is this?
And of course, she makes sure we eat our Campbell's chunky soup, like new savory beef pot roast.
How about those big chunks of beef and veggies?
Our team's a family, and she's the mom.
Campbell's Chunky, it fills you up right. All right, check it out. The new Sheepinator from Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal. All right, here goes.
Okay, shoot it. Shoot it.
That's my mom. I'm so sorry. Dude, that's my mom.
Sheepinator. Yet another weapon not fit for this world. Rated T for teen.
Get up! Get up! Come on! Get up! Come on! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up!
You're watching the 1986 SEC matchup featuring the Georgia Bulldogs and the Auburn Tigers right here on ESPN Classic.
That's the story after one quarter, but Georgia is trying to change everything on this drive. They are going against the odds because Auburn has not allowed a first-half touchdown this year. Georgia, however, 1st and 10 from the Auburn 13-yard line, and it's been an impressive drive, Pat.
Oh, and I don't have a calculator, but that's 242 points to 15 points Auburn's outscored their opponents in the first half.
Take the deep man in the eye. Osborne in motion. Option. And Johnson keeps and gets to the 10. This is something we had not expected to see out of Wayne Johnson. He is primarily a drop-back quarterback, although at 6'4", 203, he is big enough to run the option. And not all that slow either.
No, but didn't look real good on that play. I think, again, particularly down in the red zone, inside the 20-yard line, you've got to go those early downs, play action. You've got to get the ball in the crossing routes. Let's look for the tight end on this play.
Wide receiver split left is John Thomas. Osborne goes that way in motion. Tate. Only to the 8-yard line. Kurt Crane and Tracy Rocker, number 74 on the stop, and Vince Dooley talking to his offensive coaching staff on a 3rd and 5. Dooley has been at one institution longer than only one of the coaches been there longer. That's Billy Yeoman, who has already announced his retirement at Houston. So Dooley will have that honor next year. 3rd and 5. Big play for Georgia. They have to score points because Auburn is going to get its point. Johnson throws back, wide open, Sadowski, touchdown.
Oh, that was a play late, beautiful.
Wayne Johnson rolled left, turned back right, and Sadowski was wide open. The first touchdown pass of the year for the sophomore from Columbus, Georgia. And Steve Crumley will come on to try to tie it up. Crumley, one of the dying breed, the straightaway place kickers, but he's a good one. 28 of 28 on the year, and we're tied at 7.
Well, here's the first touchdown against this Auburn defense in the first half the entire year. It's an excellent call by the coaches. Just going to roll left. The tight end's going to sneak back. Sadowski's sneaking back. No one picks him up. Touchdown. You know, so often, Mike, you hear about individual effort by the players, how talented they are, but coaches don't get enough credit sometimes. And this was an excellent call by Coach Vince Dooley and his offensive staff.
Get into it, Vince.
I tried to act cool.
13:45 to go in the half. We're tied at 7, Georgia and Auburn.
On the next Cheap Seats.
A fat tranny in hot pants. Who's your granddaddy? Who's your granddaddy?
Roller Games, 10 Eastern tonight on ESPN Classic.
All of my fantasies are coming true, but I can't believe it. Wait a minute, I'm losing fake control here.
Friday, the NBA is on ESPN. Shaquille O'Neal has joined up with Dwayne Wade to turn up the heat, but Duncan and the Spurs are poised to regain their spot at the top. Kia NBA shoot-around, followed by Heat Spurs. Friday at 7:30 on ESPN.
This is Bob. Bob is doing well. Very well indeed. That's because not long ago, Bob realized that he needed something better in his life. And what did he get? Why, a big boost of confidence, a little more self-esteem, and a very happy missus at home. Free samples of Enzyte now available while supplies last. Just call or visit fordenzyte.com. Enzyte, the once-a-day tablet for natural male enhancement. This is Bob. Bob is looking cool. And with a call to Enzyte about natural male enhancement, Bob is living large. In a few short weeks, Bob has a big new spring of confidence. A generous swelling of pride. And the one thing every man deserves, a little well-earned respect from the neighborhood. Free samples of Enzyte now available while supplies last. Just call or visit fordenzyte.com. Enzyte, the once-a-day tablet for natural male enhancement.
You're watching the 1986 SEC matchup featuring the Georgia Bulldogs and the Auburn Tigers right here on ESPN Classic.
Midway through the second quarter, Georgia took the lead when place kicker Steve Crumley nailed a 32-yard field goal. So with the score now 10-7 in favor of the Bulldogs, we pick up the action with 5:36 remaining in the half here on ESPN Classic.
Underdog Georgia has taken a 10-7 lead over Auburn with 5:36 to go first half in a good ball game. Crumley kicking off, coming to the near side and picked up by James Joseph. Joseph had a seam and is out over the 30-yard line to about the 33, and Auburn will start in good field position. The Auburn defense, which gives up 83 yards a game on the season, has already allowed 107 so far. And Georgia got most of its yards in that drive on the ground, 61 of them in fact. Another drive that took more than 6 minutes, and they're up 10-7. Auburn with the ball at its own 33-yard line. Gaines in motion. Fullwood. Boswell, Brantley, Aaron Chubb, number 28. Everybody got a shot at him, and he is a marked man. Fullwood, 71 yards on 9 carries in the first half.
Well, Auburn's going back to their bread and butter. They're going to go to Brent Fullwood. Sprint draw, they fake to the right now. Cut back. Notice the strength he has. He's not just fast. When he breaks tackles, he just runs right over the first tackler, who's a linebacker. Just a beautiful combination of speed and strength.
2nd and 3. This is Jesse who is in for Fullwood. He gets to the 45-yard line. That will be an Auburn first down, and we've got something from the sideline from Tim Brando. Tim?
Mike and Pat, John Little, you see behind me, number 19, the safety, has not played to this point, and the Georgia defense has changed a little bit because of that. What they're doing, Pat, is they're disguising some of their blitzes. Georgia in the past has been a team that blitzed a great deal. They're trying to give some too deep covers in the zones for the other safety that's in the game for him, and they're also trying to help Greg Williams, the corner on the left side, in this play right here.
Thank you, Tim. 1st and 10, Auburn. Jesse. He'll only get a couple this time, wrapped up by big number 72, Larry Brown, the 255-pound junior guard.
And the reason, you know, Tim, that's good information. The reason they're trying to help Greg Williams, he's only like 5'9". They don't want him matched up with Lawyer Tillman, who's the big receiver for Auburn, who's 6'4". That's just too big a mismatch. And they want to double cut. That cover 2 is where they send both safeties and double team the outside receivers, and they're going to rely on their linebackers to stop the ball up the middle.
Donaldson and Tillman are the wide receivers. Split left and right, and they will go to Fullwood back in the ballgame. Fullwood hit at the 50. A flag is down. And it was thrown right at Agee, who was trying to throw a block on the outside against Vince Guthrie, one of the outside linebackers. See what the call is. And it's a hold.
You know, Mike, we talked to the receivers coach, who's also calls the plays, Larry Blakeney for Auburn, and he said, you know, he's been there a long time and through a number of running eras, and he says what worries him is they just have in their nature, it's their nature to call running plays, and they're going into their shell. They came out passing, now they're running.
There's Agee coming off the field. We'll get a look at him here. You probably are going to see the holding against Vince Guthrie on the right side.
I just took him right down. And this puts them in a tough situation. This is where Auburn's going to have to throw the ball. And that's just trying to say that it's hard to break habits. And Auburn has run the ball for so long that their play calling gets progressively more conservative if the score is close. And it really cost them the Florida game in the end.
Yes, it did. And they admit they went into a shell in that Florida game. They had the lead, and they just thought they'd try to protect it. Tillman 85, Bolton 24 in the ball game on 2nd and 17. Berger deep down the middle, intercepted. It's picked off by Gary Moss. Moss makes the big play, his 5th interception of the season. And Georgia is playing Auburn off its feet.
This is not the type of ball that Auburn wants to play. They want to mix up. Jeff Berger's not the most talented, gifted quarterback. And Pat Sullivan said his arm is not that strong. They want to set him up and throw when they aren't expecting it. Right here, Georgia's just back in their zone. Look at 3 guys. He forced that ball. No way into a zone you can throw a ball and complete that. There's 3 defenders right there. Moss happened to be the one that picked it off. 2 other guys could have had it. Got to pick your spots to throw the ball if you're Auburn.
Moss makes the big play, and Georgia, already leading 10-7, is going for more with 3:24 to go in the half. They're in Auburn territory. And around, it's Osborne. Got some room. 20, 15. And Arthur Johnson was the man who made the tackle, number 40. He missed him the first time and came back and got him the second time.
Oh, but what a game plan. Here it is again. First down. You don't have to always throw the ball. Calls a reverse. Auburn just wasn't looking for it. They're mixing up their plays. Big gamble here. Fake option. Oh, nice design on that. A fake option goes back to Osborne the other way. Now it's just speed. Right, it's a great effort to come back and make this tackle, but Osborne had enough speed to break that play.
A great play design. Tate trying to get outside.
Well, that was really
brought down by Phillips and Bruce.
What an interesting design on that play. You have Wayne Johnson in a quarterback who's not that big a threat as a runner. So you run the option, you pitch it back the other way to the flanker. Totally unexpected.
They've done a good job because they had run it once before to set it up. 2nd and 8. Tate got a big hole inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. The hole closed quickly, but you could have driven a truck through it initially.
Well, that's the play they run so effectively to forward. Auburn does. It's just a sprint draw. The quarterback comes out, tailback gets the ball deep, and he reads and he cuts back like that against the grain. Awfully tough to defense.
99, Nate Hill is checking in on the Auburn defensive line on 3rd and 3. Henderson is in there as the Georgia tailback, number 30. And he's got it. Trying to go outside. No, sir. Kurt Crane, number 39, is the guy who got there, and Auburn strung that play out beautifully.
Well, one of the keys to an effective pitch and play to go outside to your tailback is you have to have a nice throw. This is low. He doesn't handle it well, and he's not that fast getting outside. It gives the linebacker time to run it down, and Crane did run it down in a hurry.
Now, Georgia has taken another timeout. They will be facing a 4th and 4. Will Crumley come in or not? We'll find out when we come back to Auburn, Alabama.
For the nagging joint pain and stiffness of osteoarthritis, over-the-counter pills may not always be what you need, but some prescriptions may not be right for you. That's why there's Celebrex for joint pain relief. Nothing more and nothing less. Celebrex targets the source of pain and inflammation. It doesn't make you foggy, and it's not narcotic. Your pain doesn't slow you down, and neither should your pain reliever. Celebrex should not be taken if you've had aspirin-sensitive asthma or allergic reaction due to aspirin or other arthritis medicines or certain drugs called sulfonamides. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have kidney or liver problems. Just one Celebrex gives 24-hour, all-day, all-night relief. Talk to your doctor about prescription Celebrex. Celebrex, joint pain relief. No more, no less.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. Next year all our troubles will be out of sight. So have yourself a merry little Christmas.
This holiday season, put out the good stuff. Planters.
Pass it! Take the shot! Pass it! Go, pass it! Pass it! Shoot it! Shot! This thing's going into overtime!
Scent is the strongest sense tied to memory. How will you be remembered? Introducing Red Zone Body Spray in 4 great scents that all last longer than the leading body spray.
He's so great.
Red Zone Body Spray. Spice things up all day, all night.
You're watching a 1986 SEC matchup featuring the Georgia Bulldogs and the Auburn Tigers right here on ESPN Classic.
1 minute, 29 seconds left to go in the first half. Georgia leading 10-7, and this is Steve Crumley, who will come on to try a 26-yard field goal. He has already made one from 32. And he drives it through. And the Georgia Bulldogs have really surprised the Auburn Tigers and have taken a 13-7 lead with 1 minute 25 to go in the first half.
So what'd you have for dinner? A pound of fried chicken, mashed potatoes, corn and pudding. You? A sliver of trout spritzed with lemon, and baby carrots!
Should have had Hungry Man from Swanson. A whole pound of the good hearty food that men love. Hungry Man, it's good to be full.
Right?
So what's this about our Guinness again?
I've discovered that Guinness Draft has only 125 calories.
Only 125 calories? Brilliant! What else have you been up to?
I've invented this little book. It's black. You put women's phone numbers in it.
A little black book? Brilliant!
Come here often. You can also use it as a coaster.
A coaster? Brilliant!
Brilliant!
Guinness Draft has only 125 calories. Enjoy it responsibly.
Brilliant!
I consider myself smart.
In the know.
Practical.
Practical.
So when I wanted a new SUV...
I did my homework. I found the perfect one. Suzuki XL7.
Tons of standard features. Tons of standard features.
I like the V6. V6. I like the V6.
It seats 7.
Seat 7. And it comes with peace of mind.
Because it comes with America's #1 warranty.
It's family-friendly SUV.
That's big, big.
That's big on adventure. Now that's smart.
That's smart.
XL7.
The scariest film of 2004 has become a terrifying phenomenon. This one is special. The Grudge, rated PG-13, now playing
Sunday on ESPN Classic. When a basketball team hits the skids,
It's like the Gong Show.
it's time to check with a local astrologer.
I'm Pisces, man.
Find new players.
Say no more. Just show us to the floor.
And kick some.
We gonna do what we came here to do.
Julius Erving, Meadowlark Lemon, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar star in The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. Wheel Classics, 8 Eastern Sunday, only on ESPN Classic.
Athletics has always been in Vince Dooley's blood. After graduating from McGill High in Mobile, Alabama, Dooley accepted a football scholarship to Auburn, where he was an all-star football and basketball player. He served a stint in the Marines and later was an assistant coach at Auburn before accepting the head coaching job at Georgia in December of 1963 at the age of 31. While at Georgia, Dooley became the school's most successful coach, compiling an overall record of 201, 77, and 10. He led the Dogs to the 1980 National Championship, won 6 SEC titles, and made 20 bowl appearances in his 25 seasons in Athens. A 7-time SEC Coach of the Year, Dooley was named National Coach of the Year in 1980. While he was successful on the gridiron, Dooley also gave thought to seeing if that success would translate to the political arena as well.
My plans are that over the next 20 or 30 days to give this most important matter a lot of very serious thought, and in fairness to the football team, the Athletic Association, and the University of Georgia, come to a definite decision as soon as possible. Because of my devotion to each football player and every athlete and every official in the Athletic Association and my long-time commitment to the university, this will be the most difficult decision I've ever made. I have traveled all over this state and have been in untold number of homes, talking to parents, and I believe that I know their feelings and concerns. I am confident I could properly represent them.
Dooley didn't run for the Senate, but he did explore Georgia's governor position in 1990 and later decided against it. Now let's return to Georgia and Auburn from 1986 on ESPN Classic.
Auburn will kick off. Georgia leading 13-7 will receive. Lane number 4 to the near side, and Lewis, number 8, to the far side. Awaiting Chris Knapp's kickoff. And he booms it deep. It's Lewis, 2 yards deep. Lane says down it there, and he will. Let's take a look at the halftime statistics, and Georgia has rolled up almost as many yards overall as Auburn gives up in an entire ballgame. Certainly in the rushing department, they've exceeded it.
Well, they've done very well, and what's disappointing, I think, for Auburners, they've only thrown 7 passes in the first half and only 4 in their final 4 drives. But the biggest statistic right now is that Georgia scored 13 points, and 9 opponents only scored 15 against Auburn in the first half earlier throughout the season.
We'll talk more about Auburn's passing when they get the football for the first time. Tate is back in the tailback. McCluskey 43 in front of him, and Tate will get the first carry. 5, 6 yards, and dragging people with him. An 8-yard gain for Lars Tate. Here's what Georgia was able to do in the first half. The first possession, they only got off 4 plays and had to punt. After that, 2 excellent drives. A 13-play drive that resulted in their touchdown, and a 12-play drive that they got a field goal out of. And then after an interception, they got another field goal for their 13 points. Tate now 60 yards on 13 carries. 2nd and 2, long signal count. Tate again, picking his way, got to the 30.
I'll tell you, Mike, you chalk up those long drives and those nice series to the play calling. The coaches have really mixed it up nicely. They've been able to go with the tailback outside and inside. They've went with the reverse. They've thrown the ball effectively when they've had to, and that's why they're leading this game. And they're doing it with Wayne Johnson, a backup quarterback who has played sparingly since the 4th game of last year. He started the first 3, did not throw the ball that well, and had only 4 passes this season coming in. It is 3rd and inches. And Georgia will jump offside. It's the right guard, Kim Stevens, the 2nd time he has done that tonight. Now, interesting, where the ball was spotted, I think it was moved by the center, it would have been a first down. Oh, he definitely jumped off sides. That's twice for Kim Stevens, who the coaching staff considers to be their finest offensive lineman. Very surprising.
Very low penalty count in the ballgame, only 3, and they've all been small. And Vince Dooley doesn't like mistakes. He knows he has to play mistake-free tonight. 3rd and now 5. They'll split the backs. Tate and McCluskey. Johnson to throw, under pressure. And they've got him inside the 10. The sack to Benji Rowland. Big number 96, and Johnson just couldn't get away. There is a flag down on the play near the line of scrimmage. We'll check it for you. And it's going to be a hold against Georgia. Auburn will decline that and take the loss on the play. Really, the first big defensive play Auburn has had.
Right in the middle of your screen, on the left, Rocker's just going to overpower Strozier. He's going to put pressure on the quarterback and force him out of the pocket. And he really got held by Strozier. That's just power football. And then in comes the nose tackle to make the sack. Chalk that one up to outstanding play by Tracy Rocker.
Carpenter standing in the shadow of the goalpost. Literally. Will have to kick it away, and Trey Gaines standing at his own 42-yard line waiting for it. Good snap, no pressure, and Carpenter got a wobbly kick out of there. Gaines fair catch at the Georgia 47-yard line, a 39-yard kick. Here's what Auburn did when they had the ball in the first half. The first drive went 6 plays, but then they had to punt. Then their best drive, in fact, their only good drive of the ball game, 14 plays. It went 84 yards for a touchdown. Then they had to punt. The next drive resulted in an interception, and then halftime as they killed the clock. Auburn has not thrown the ball effectively. They told us they wanted to pass, and here is Berger to throw on first down. And he's wide open at the 30, driven out of bounds. Now this is what they had planned to do all week, Pat, but they did not do it in the first half, and you go back to the things that that brought you there, and that's the running game.
They went into their shell, but they know they've got Lawyer Tillman, who's one of the finest receivers in the country. 6'4", he'll play action on first down, no problem with protection. He's going against a couple cornerbacks that are 5'9" and 5'10". There's no way, that's too big a mismatch. They've got to do that more. Throw on first down.
Vincent Harris, number 21, is into the ball game. Fullwood now goes behind him in the eye. And they'll give it to Harris. Harris inside the 25 to about the 24. Thrown back. Wyckoff Lovelace, number 94, is in on the tackle, along with Boswell. Frank Thomas, 87, will check in at tight end for Auburn for Walter Reeves.
You know, it won't be in the statistics, but the key to this drive right now, their field position was that offsides by Stevens, or else Georgia would have had an easy first down there.
On the 3rd and inches.
That's right.
2nd and 5 for the Tigers. Fullwood. They were waiting for him. He got a couple still on his feet. Fullwood, 20-15. The official stopped him. They said he was out of bounds.
He's too good for the game.
Oh, what balance. That's right. And he is really upset. Brent Fullwood with tremendous strength, tremendous balance.
And that's definitely a bad whistle by the officials. He was never stopped. His progress, he continued moving his legs, and he was running. They just aren't accustomed to a human being being able to take this many hits and stays upright. They should have been a touchdown for Fullwood. Now he stopped up, but his legs won't stop. Watch. He's still moving outside. He's still going. No way. That's much too quick a whistle. Auburn got cheated out of a touchdown. What a play by Fullwood.
Yeah, and he did not step out of bounds. That was a quick whistle, and it cost him 7 points. 3rd and 5. Jesse in motion. Berger dumps it out to Agee. Agee couldn't hold it. It's just as well he didn't catch it because Larry Brown put him on his back. Tough break for Auburn there.
Well, that run by Fullwood would have gone in the highlight films for the country. That was one of the, just an excellent effort. He was denied.
So Chris Knapp will come on for a field goal attempt. He is 9 out of 17, but 6 of those misses have come from more than 40 yards. This will be a 41-yard attempt. Plenty of leg on it, and it's through the heart of the goalposts. Let's see what happened to Fullwood after he realized a whistle had blown and the referee stopped him. He did not care for it one little bit. Georgia by 3.
On the next Cheap Seats.
Bow to bow to bang to bang boogie to bang boogie, say up jump the boogie.
Once it was the hottest ticket on the tube.
What the hell is that?
But now it's stooped to cheap tricks.
Who's your granddaddy? Who's your granddaddy?
Cheap dames.
A fat tranny in hot pants.
And being spoofed on cheap seats.
This guy's like an unfinished Frankenstein.
Roller Games, 10 Eastern tonight on ESPN Classic.
All of my fantasies are coming true, but I can't believe it. Wait a minute, I'm losing fake control here.
Experience a devotion that knows no limit. Experience a love like no other. A Mel Gibson film. Jim Caviezel. The Passion of the Christ. Rated R.
Homeowners, it's so easy to pay off your high-rate credit cards with a low-rate home equity loan from Countrywide. Did I say low? With one easy call, you can find out how much equity you have in your home, how much you can lower your payments, get a quick upfront approval, and get this low rate with one call. Think about it. You could have your credit cards all paid off by next month. But hurry, apply today. Call 1-866-436-2474.
You're watching the 1986 SEC matchup featuring the Georgia Bulldogs and the Auburn Tigers right here on ESPN Classic.
With 11:31 to go in the 3rd quarter of play. Georgia deep to receive with Lane and Lewis. And this is Chris Knapp, who made the 41-yard field goal and had plenty of leg on it. Lewis, 10-yard line. Across the 25 to about the 26 where he's driven out of bounds. Let's take a look at the play where it was whistled dead.
Well, this is an opportunity to watch an exceptional athlete. This is one of the great plays of the season right here. He stopped. 2 people hit him, but he continues to move his leg. He moves outside. There's no way that play should have blown dead. He breaks that tackle, and he's gone. No way. That's a touchdown.
Now, this is in normal speed, and I think you get a better indication of it.
This could turn out to be the play of the game right here.
No chance. Very, very quick whistle. It might have been an inadvertent whistle for all we know, but he did blow. McCluskey, the fullback, not much. First man to hit him was 98 Robert Goff. The junior out of Bradenton, Florida, who is one of the better pass rushers on the Auburn defensive line.
We talked about Auburn getting too conservative. Now Georgia can't go away from their game plan. They've got to throw these balls on first and second down. They can't just keep running the ball up the middle.
2nd and 8. Osborne comes toward us. Tate. Lars Tate has had a fine game. He's run really well out to the 32. Kurt Crane on the tackle again. Auburn, after getting excellent field position, was able to go 23 yards only in 5 plays and set up Chris Knapp's 41-yard field goal to cut it from 13-7 to 13-10. There is the bigger Bulldog. 3rd and 4, and the Auburn crowd really firing up the defense. Johnson changing his formation, moving his wide receivers. They'll run the option again. He keeps. Nice effort by Johnson to get the first down to the 37.
Big, strong kid. That was an excellent move. Got inside, broke that tackle. It's surprising. You don't expect Wayne Johnson to run the option this well. He's not the quickest man in the world, but now he'll turn it up, and now he'll just use his strength. Break that tackle and fall forward. First down. That was a nice call. Option play was a gamble on that.
One thing we should point out is that Auburn knows virtually nothing about Wayne Johnson, and it's very difficult to prepare for that.
This looks like a pass to me out of the split backs.
Instead, they go play action, and McCluskey on the draw will get across the 40 to about the 42. Phillips makes the tackle along with Andre Bruce, and we'll update you on some other scores. Alabama, of course, won today in a non-conference game over Temple. Virginia Tech beating Vanderbilt after being behind early. Mississippi probably knocked out of the race, but 22-10. And Kentucky, in a real surprise, beats Florida 10-3. Back to action, 2nd and 5 for Georgia. Trying to keep it on the ground. Tate just bursts forward to the 47. They'll mark it between the 47 and the 48. May have another first down. Tate just exploded through the line that time.
One reason they've been able to run the ball well tonight, Georgia, is because Stevens and Strozier, right there on the right of your screen, 68 and 79. They take their men, they give Tate room and enough time to get his momentum going where he can either jump over the top or if he can land on his feet, break along to run.
The guys who have been here 4 years for Georgia have not beaten Auburn, and they desperately want to. Emotion still plays such a tremendous part in this game. First and 10 from the 48. Lars Tate in Auburn territory. Fumble. Georgia got it back at the 50. A fortunate bounce for Georgia, and the Bulldogs have not had many of those this year. And it's McCluskey with a recovery.
When they played South Carolina earlier in the year, we saw their players actually fall on the ball and lose it somehow. This is another nice deep handoff. Give him time to read and cut inside. He just gets hit right on the ball. Tracy Rocker with another big hit. And they're very fortunate to recover that.
Henderson will check in at tailback now, and Hiawatha Berry, number 39, the 245, 250-pounder, is in at fullback. And 2nd and 7, and they'll give it to Henderson. Big hole for Henderson. He's close to another first down at the Auburn 42-yard line, and they're making a living off that left side.
Well, they've really used Keith Henderson effectively tonight. And Wilbur Strozier, we've talked about him a number of times. You don't see tackles and guards pull in tandem this well very often. Strozier's very fast for his size. He leads the hole, right up through the hole, and Henderson follows him. And there's really nobody in the way until he hits the ground.
It was tough to tell who Strozier blocked because he just completely obliterated him from the picture. And they'll bring in the change from the far sideline to measure. You know it's a good block when you can't even identify the guy who gets flattened, and Strozier just pancaked. And it's a first down. Georgia with 13 first downs in this ball game, and Auburn has a defense that's been giving up 82.9 yards a game. That's one of the best in the country.
That's just the design of the plays. On that play, they sent Hiawatha Berry to the right, who took out Rocker, and then they cut back left behind the tackle and guard. Nice design.
Clock running with 7 minutes and 19 seconds to go, third quarter. It's a 13-10 Georgia lead over Auburn. Tate is back in there, and Henderson now at fullback. Play action. Henderson open, 30, 25, And he just put his head down and drilled Shan Morris, knocked him out of the play. And it's another first down for the Tigers. And you've got to give Vince Dooley and his coaching staff a lot of credit for this design of the offense, along with Wayne Johnson, who has just done a superb job at quarterback.
Well, he really has. They're mixing the plays up, and Wayne Johnson just standing back there throwing nice passes, and he took a sack earlier. He's playing an intelligent game, and Henderson is a fine receiver out of the backfield, and he's already shown his running ability.
1st and 10, the ball now at the Auburn 23, well within the range of Steve Crumley, the field goal kicker. McCluskey cuts it back, 15, 14-yard line. The tackle made by Arthur Johnson, number 40. And Georgia is really fired up.
They pull Stevens and Strozier again. We saw this play earlier, and McCluskey's able to cut back against the grain. You'll see him pull left, and he'll cut right behind him. Nice little lane in there. He found it. But the key is Stevens and Strozier are so active on that offensive line.
2nd and 1 for the Bulldogs. McCluskey looked like he got the first down, hanging onto his ankles. Ron Stallworth, number 92. Stallworth, another sophomore. He's from Pensacola, Florida, 260. This is a very young Auburn defense that has excelled all year across the front. 4 sophomores and a junior. The linebackers, 2 juniors. The only seniors are in the secondary, and there's 2 of them. So the cupboard will not be bare next season. Here's another sophomore, Wayne Johnson, the quarterback who has not started since the beginning of last year. And he's done quite a job. It is a 1st and 10, Georgia. Henderson, again behind Strozier, down to the 6-yard line. And Strozier is down. Big Wilbur Strozier holding onto his leg.
Timeout for the injured Georgia player.
And he's holding onto that left knee, obviously in pain, and this is the last guy they can afford to lose up front. This guy at 262 runs a 4.7 40.
And that's legitimate. What they've done, Mike, they keep running left with him. They're pulling Stevens and the tackle, which is very unusual, and they keep cutting back or they keep following him up. The backs are reading Strozier and Stevens, and he's just going to get hit from behind on this play, which happens a lot of times when you pull right here.
Looked like Henderson may have stepped on his leg and twisted his knee.
Nice block.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did. His knee hit the outside of Strozier's left knee and bent it in.
But that was a perfect picture of why they've been able to run the ball. He's kicking the guy out and he's cutting underneath it.
We'll check on Wilbur Strozier when we come back right after this.
Inside that digital camera is something familiar, a battery. And while you might think all batteries are the same, consider what happened here last winter when a heart stopped and his life depended on a Zoll defibrillator. And when Zoll chooses a battery, they trust Duracell. So whether it's saving a moment or saving a life, it just has to work. Duracell, trusted everywhere.
From Philips comes the only flat TV with built-in ambient light technology, which changes color with whatever you're watching, so you are completely surrounded by the experience. The new Philips Flat TV with Ambilight.
There is now no doubt the revolution in resolution is here today. Nothing captures the high-definition viewing experience like ESPN HD. Top events like the NBA and NFL in widescreen picture window clarity. Look at this! Are you kidding? Coming January 6th, the revolution continues with the debut of ESPN 2 HD. Top events like Major League Baseball. Sports so real, you'll want to steal a sign. Take it to the hoop. Or go in for 6. And in the coming months, ESPN HD plus ESPN 2 HD will feature over 300 originally produced live events in high definition. If you have an HD TV, get ESPN HD today and get ready for ESPN 2 HD. If not, it's time to step up. Way above the rim. ESPN HD, the big picture in sports. Call your cable operator or satellite provider today. Presented by Philips and Best Buy.
From Philips comes the only flat TV with built-in ambient light technology, which changes color with whatever you're watching, so you are completely surrounded by the experience. The new Philips Flat TV with Ambilight.
You're watching a 1986 SEC matchup featuring the Georgia Bulldogs and the Auburn Tigers right here on ESPN Classic.
And it looks like another knee injury has struck down the Georgia starter, Wilbur Strozier, in obvious discomfort, being helped off the field.
And the irony, Mike, is they have not played a game this year on AstroTurf. It's all been on grass.
Watch Henderson's left knee. It bangs into Strozier's left knee, and it's not supposed to bend that way, folks.
And his cleat stuck. See, he had longer cleats on the grass, and his knee just didn't give.
Strozier being helped off the field, and now on 2nd and 4. Scott Adams, number 75, is in at right tackle for Strozier. Johnson on the option. He's got room to run. Touchdown, Georgia. Wayne Johnson, the sophomore Bulldog quarterback, has come in here and done quite a job for Vince Dooley, hasn't he, Pat?
That's the beauty of college sports. You just never know. This guy comes in here and nobody expects him to run the option. I mean, I remember you and I kind of silently scoffed the first time.
Sure.
Now he's run it to perfection. And he's throwing the ball well. But Vince Dooley said the guy has no fear. He wasn't nervous at all about starting. And
Crumley will come on for the point after. It is 19-10. And Crumley knocks it through. And the underdog Georgia Bulldogs are up by 10.
They're absolutely just catching Auburn unprepared for these plays. He has nobody. He could have pitched this ball for a touchdown too. There's nobody's going to stop this play. Just got outside, faked the ball up the middle. Play calling again.
Big, strong kid. And Vince Dooley has put his hopes on Wayne Johnson tonight, and the hopes are coming true as Georgia leads Auburn 20-10.
Silverado has better resale value than Ford or Dodge. That's why it's the right truck, the official truck of an American revolution.
We thought they'd never find us. We were wrong.
No enemy has ever withstood our might.
I need a weapon.
There are those who said this day would never come. What are they to say now?
Rated M for mature.
So what floor do you live on?
I live down the hall, 22B.
Are you the guy in the corner apartment?
Yeah.
You should really think about closing your blinds.
I'll keep that in mind. Hey, we're moving. Good thinking. Pass the Tostitos.
We should do this more often.
Everyone loves a great crunchy taste of Tostitos scoops, and with a bite-sized bowl shape, you get the perfect dip every time.
So you see everything?
Yeah.
Right.
And now, look for our new blue bags.
I love rockin' football towns.
Refs who shout first down.
Back-to-back Super Bowl wins.
And twins. I love making quarterbacks grind.
Being one of the guys.
A big fridge full of beer.
And those twins. And I love you too.
Coors Light, the coldest tasting beer in the world.
You're watching a 1986 SEC matchup featuring the Georgia Bulldogs and the Auburn Tigers right here on ESPN Classic.
12 minutes and 8 seconds left to go at Auburn, where Georgia leads the heavily favored Tigers 20-10, and they have the football at their own 22.
That's another jolt of adrenaline, another confidence builder for that Georgia team.
And they don't need any more confidence. They're doing just fine. Tate turned the corner. Bumped out of bounds by Kevin Porter. Georgia's just done an excellent job in all phases of the game tonight.
Well, they've run 14 times this half. They've only thrown twice. Both of them were completed passes. But it's the way they're using their runs. They're going inside, outside, using different personnel, both at the blocking back and with their tailback. between Tate and Henderson. It's been very effective.
Gain of 8 on that last play. In case you joined us late, James Jackson, normally the starting quarterback, had been injured all week. His grandmother died this week. He was away for the funeral. Is not here tonight, and Johnson is starting in his place and has done a fine job running the offense as Georgia gets a first down out to the 34. And you don't think the Auburn Tigers know what's happening to them? They're down by 10, and it's under 12 minutes to go. And this would dump them out of a three-way tie for first place in the Southeastern Conference. And the only conference game they have left is Alabama, the one they look forward to.
Question is, were they looking forward to next week?
Yeah.
Past Georgia.
First and 10. McCluskey. Didn't get much there.
You know, you look at a game like this and you say, well, did Georgia just come in and play above their heads? Was Auburn just not prepared, looking past Alabama? And the thing is, Auburn has not made errors. They haven't made a lot of mistakes.
And I really don't think that's the case. I think Georgia has just played their hearts out on defense where they've staked their claim to this game.
And they've used their minds on offense. They've used the personnel perfectly.
I want to thank our spotters, Kevin Robinson, Jeff Blanton, Mark Parkman, and our statistician, as always, Chuck Reedy, for a great job tonight. 2nd and 9, and it's been a whale of a ball game. Blitz, and Tate is stopped after a gain of a yard, maybe 2. Our story here, 10.5 minutes left. Georgia leading Auburn 20-10, 3rd and 7. Really all Georgia needs is not any more points right now. They just need to work some time off the clock, and they've been very good at it in this ball game. 3 drives that have taken more than 6 minutes off the clock each time. And they'd like another one. Tate spins out of a tackle, but not enough as he gets to the 40-yard line. Kirk Crane pins him to the ground.
That's pretty much been their game plan coming in. If they had 3rd and long, they just weren't willing to put the ball up and have their turnovers. They're going to throw the ball on their terms when they wanted, at the time they thought was most advantageous, and you got to respect them for sticking with it.
Well, Auburn has, I believe, 21 interceptions this year. They're a very opportunistic defense. There is Chris Carpenter, who's done a beautiful job of punting tonight, and Trey Gaines standing at his own 15. Auburn once again had 10 men on the line and then back off of it, not going for the block. Shorter kick this time, end over end, and Gaines has to let it bounce, and it takes a Bulldog bounce to the 15-yard line. So Auburn will start with poor field position after a 44-yard kick. It's a 10-point ball game.
On the next Cheap Seats.
A fat tranny in hot pants. Who's your granddaddy? Who's your granddaddy?
Roller Games, 10 Eastern tonight on ESPN Classic.
All of my fantasies are coming true, but I can't believe it. Wait a minute, I'm losing fake control here.
If you know football, you know Lawrence Taylor, one of the most fearsome players ever.
There was no one better.
So what did Mike Wallace say to this big tough guy that made him cry? 60 Minutes on Classic, 8 p.m. Tuesday on ESPN Classic.
Now you can get in great shape, build muscle, and you can do it fast. All you have to do is dial it up. Turn up the results with the Bowflex Select Tech free weight system. Now you can dial up the weight you want, anywhere from 5 to 52.5 pounds on one single dumbbell. Want 15 pounds? Just turn the dial to 15 and start lifting. Ready for 40? All it takes is the turn of a dial. Now you can get powerful biceps, a sexy core, even chiseled legs in an easy 30-minute workout. If you know someone who would love an entire rack of free weights in one compact system, then call the number on your screen today. Order now, and we'll include this free DVD, Secrets of the 4-Step Rep, that teaches you perfect free weight technique. Why get all this when you can get the Select Tech for less than half the price? So call now.
For more information on our classic games, trivia, upcoming specials, and the ESPN Classic program schedule, go to ESPN.com, keyword classic. In November of 1986, scandal rocked Washington as President Ronald Reagan admitted his administration had illegally sold weapons to Iran and gave millions of dollars to the Contra rebels in Nicaragua. Also that year, the worst nuclear accident in history took place at the Chernobyl power plant in the Ukraine. Earlier in 1986, the United States was stunned when the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded just after its launch. All 7 on board, including schoolteacher Krista McCullough, were killed. as millions watched on television. Well, Georgia and Auburn battled it out on the football field on November 15, 1986. The rock group Boston was on top of the Billboard chart with their hit Amanda. It was their second week at #1. Rounding out the top 5 were Human by the Human League, Madonna's True Blue. The Eddie Money duet with Ronnie Spector, Take Me Home Tonight, was 4th, followed by Bon Jovi's You Give Love a Bad Name. Now let's get back to the 1986 SEC showdown between Georgia and Auburn on ESPN Classic.
Well, that's Chris Carpenter, the punter. He's had an excellent night tonight. He's averaged over 45 yards net. Looks like he has a little groin problem there, but he'll be back in. Punters don't sit down very long.
You are having a terrible influence on our statistician with your puns.
Right there. See, as soon as he sees, that's what's funny. The Carpenter sees it, make sure it's 44-yard net. He had a nice little roll on it. Then it started hurting.
As I said, Chuck Freeby is taking a line from you. He says Carpenter nailed that one.
Oh boy, he would
got to
say
stop
that.
with the puns. 1st and 10, 15. Auburn desperately needing to get something going. Berger sack. Larry Brown got him from behind. Really the first time Georgia's had any pass pressure.
I think they just guessed again. I think it was a matter of time. They have to start passing on 1st down. I think they've waited too long, Auburn has. In this case, Larry Brown just beats his guy and gets in and makes his tackle. It was obvious that he had no receivers open on that play. But I just think Auburn's waited too long. They've just put themselves in a position where Georgia right now is gambling intelligently and making the plays.
It's 2nd down and 17. Berger from the goal line. And it's complete to Reeves. No, the official says he trapped it at the 15-yard line. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 17. And the crowd starting to get restless here. They see a shot at the SEC title slipping away.
Well, that's twice now we've seen that same instance where they've had 2nd and long and they've gone to a 6- or 7-yard pass, which really wouldn't help them that much because there was no chance of picking up. They threw one to Reeves earlier. That's not the pass you want to throw in that situation. You'd be better off with a screen or something with Fullwood, give him a chance to run.
The clock becoming the factor. 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go. It is a 10-point ball game. Auburn must score twice. Fullwood is back in there. Maybe they'll try to throw it to him. He stays in the block.
Going up top at Tillman, but they've got double coverage on it.
Lawyer Tillman out. Jumped everybody. Couldn't catch it. It's intercepted by Will Jones of Georgia. Lawyer Tillman got his hands on it. Wasn't his fault. He couldn't hold it because it was good defense. And Jones on the tip drill makes the interception.
Well, Jeff Berger just decided he was simply going to go up top to Lawyer Tillman on this, and it was a nice call by the Georgia defense. They had a double coverage. They had this cover 2 again, where the free safety will go over the top to help the underneath man, the corner, and they just weren't going to give up the deep ball. Now here's where 6'4" comes into play though, and while it's not a terrible throw to go to him, he almost caught this ball and then it went off his knee and it was intercepted. But Jeff Berger's got to read it out. He can't just force the ball.
The 2nd interception tonight, and Georgia in great field position near midfield. Johnson under pressure. Runs out of the pocket and goes down in Auburn territory at the 49-yard line. Boy, Ron Stallworth had a bead on him, and if Johnson sets up the throw, he gets popped.
Well, this is almost a great catch by Lawyer Tillman. And this is just the kind of night it's been. It goes off his own knee, and it's picked off. It's the kind of night it's been for Auburn, and Georgia has just been there at the right time.
2nd and 8 for the Bulldogs at the Auburn 49. 7:58 left.
How about them throwing on 1st down, though? That was a surprising move. And Johnson showed good speed, outrunning Stallworth.
Your fine young quarterback. Done a great job tonight. Here comes the blitz. Henderson. Auburn gambled and lost as Henderson burst right through the gap left by the blitzing linebackers and picked up 11. Tim Brando has an update on Carpenter from the sideline. Tim?
Chris Carpenter has tendonitis in his left knee, and that is his plant foot, Pat, and that is what was causing him the problem. What looked to be a groin pull there, actually it's tendonitis in his left knee, and that's his plant foot, but he'll be back in.
Thanks, Tim. That's very unusual. You notice his average there, 48.2 gross and 48.6 net. That's very unusual.
Means he had some great coverage downfield from his teammates. 1st and 10. Tate really popped by Benji Rowland. The line of scrimmage may have picked up one, but Georgia doing exactly what it wants to do right now. Running time off the clock. We're down to 7:05 and counting.
I think it's one of those cases where they played almost a perfect game.
I agree with you.
They've had great individual effort, and then they've had some fortunate breaks, like the early whistle that would have been a touchdown, that interception. They've taken advantage of it.
Excellent game plan.
No turnovers. They've had fine punting and coverage, like we said. That's how you win games. That's how you upset teams like Auburn.
2nd and 9. Georgia just working on the clock. The more first downs, the better off they are. Tate, hit by Stallworth. Got to the 37. But each play and the interval in between taking about 40 seconds.
The other thing is Georgia's playing great defense. I mean, I don't think they have any fear of the Auburn attack right now. I think they're looking forward to getting back on the field and silencing this crowd further. And they have quite a number of people here, and the Redcoats they've been loud tonight.
You have to believe that the Alabama Crimson Tide are grouped together watching this one.
Let's see if they run again on 3rd down and long and go to their punter.
And they'll go with a draw to McCluskey. Nothing there to the 34. Brought down by Andre Bruce. It'll bring up a 4th down situation.
We saw Vince Dooley there. Cameraman had a nice shot of him talking to the punter.
Ooh, Auburn took a timeout, Pat.
Whoa.
That's only going to leave them 2 for the rest of the ball game, and that's a little unusual in that situation on 4th and 6 for the defense to call a timeout. We'll check on it when we come back. 5:48 left to go. It's Georgia by 10.
On the next Cheap Seats.
A fat tranny in hot pants. Who's your granddaddy? Who's your granddaddy?
Roller Games, 10 Eastern tonight on ESPN Classic.
All of my fantasies are coming true, but I can't believe it. Wait a minute. I'm losing fake control here.
The season is winding down, but the dream remains. Welcome back. See who's got what it takes to make their Sports Center dream come true.
I gotta be better. That's what you do.
Dream Job, Tuesdays at 9 Eastern on ESPN.
At Geico, we're all about happy customers. In fact, our customer satisfaction is at 97%. But to get the other 3%, we're going door to door across America. What do your cats eat normally?
Well, you know, I have very special cat food for them, but also I like to give them fresh things.
We've met some fascinating people in this great land of ours and hope to have 100% satisfaction very soon.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Never will there be an Alexander like you, Alexander the Great.
A leader ruled by passion.
Conquer your fear and you'll conquer death.
A king who made all men his equal.
The first rule of war is to do what you ask your men to do.
A man betrayed by his own dreams.
Fortune favors the bold.
The gods have a way of punishing such pride.
Do you want to live forever?
Alexander, an Oliver Stone film. Rated R. Starts November 24th.
You're watching the 1986 SEC matchup featuring the Georgia Bulldogs and the Auburn Tigers right here on ESPN Classic.
Vince Dooley on the verge of a major upset. His Dogs leading 20-10. That is Vince Dooley now after 23 years at the helm. This is Vince Dooley then as the Auburn team captain, the quarterback in 1953, once out past Zeke Bartkowski. And there is Pat Dye. And there is Pat Dye as an All-American lineman at Georgia, 1959 and 60. And now respective head coaches of the other schools.
And those haircuts are back in.
Yeah, that's right. You wait long enough and everything comes back. Except at this point, you don't have enough hair left to wear them. 5:48 left to go. Auburn took a timeout after that last play, which means they will only have 2 left. And the officials, everybody just sort of milling around right now. So Georgia lets the 25-second clock run down. They're penalized 5 yards. This will move the line of scrimmage back to the 40 and give their punter, Chris Carpenter, a little more room to work.
They're going to decline it.
And it is declined.
Auburn declined it. They didn't want to give the punter the extra 5 yards on his average. I hated when teams did that.
Little chess match.
And I don't know right here, Mike, whether or not I'd go for that 52-yard field goal or I might just run a play instead of punt. I guess they don't want to give up that easy field goal and they're going to try to pin him in.
Don't want to give up the field position. I think Carpenter will try to angle it for the sideline or just pop it straight up in the air. And they're coming after him, and he pops it straight up. That's a great kick by Carpenter. Gaines fakes the fair catch. Ball hits at the 5, and Georgia downs it at the 1.
What a perfect play. And you can't do it any better than that.
That's the best 33-yard punt Chris Carpenter will ever get off. Timeout with 5:37 left in the game. Georgia leads by 10.
I wanna rock and roll this party. I still wanna have some fun, but I gotta fly. I gotta fly. Like Steve McQueen, who needs a fast machine?
Wrangler Jeans Company, a new generation of Wrangler. New fits, new fabrics, new styles.
2 letters, TV. Simple, right? Except these days there's HD TV, ED TV.
We could get an LCD TV.
If we don't get help, we'll end up with NOTV.
I guess you're just what I need.
At Circuit City, you'll find a huge selection of the latest TVs. And right now, pay no interest for 18 months on all digital TVs, $6.99 and up. Circuit City.
You're just what I needed.
So what's this about the bottle?
Well, you know how we look so fit in our swim trunks.
Yes.
I've discovered that our Guinness Draft has only 125 calories.
Only 125 calories? Brilliant! What else are you working on?
You know how your skin burns if you're on the beach too long?
Yes, it stings like the dickens.
Well, I've invented a lotion that protects you from the sun's rays.
Brilliant!
Brilliant!
Guinness Draft has only 125 calories. Enjoy it responsibly.
Brilliant!
You're watching a 1986 SEC matchup featuring the Georgia Bulldogs and the Auburn Tigers right here on ESPN Classic.
It doesn't get much tougher than this. Auburn down by 10 points with 5:37 to go, and they have the ball at their own 1. They've got to go 99 yards, get it back, and do it again. Berger complete to his tight end, or complete to Lawyer Tillman rather, to the 10-yard line, a gain of 9. Here comes the hurry-up offense. This is a good move. They have to do this. They don't have time to get 2 drives the conventional way. Berger quick over the middle to Tillman, almost intercepted again. This time it was Miles Smith, number 2, that had a hand on it.
They definitely don't want to throw the ball there. Right now they're in a cover 3 zone. They've got a free safety playing deep. They're just not going to give up the play deep to the post. They've got a safety waiting to pick this ball off. Right there, 2 people. They're covering man-to-man outside. They got safety help. Can't force that ball. You got to go underneath, hope for a big play, or else go over the middle, behind the backers, but in front of that safety.
Good coverage by Moss, and the interception almost by Miles Smith, 3rd and 1. Got to keep the drive alive no matter what, so they'll go to the running game with Agee. And Agee out over the 11. That'll stop the clock momentarily to move the sticks for a first down. 5:04. I'm sorry, it only stops in the last 2 minutes. Now they did stop it.
I think Auburn's got to try to get the ball either their tight end or the split end across the middle, run a post pattern behind it, and get the ball underneath and try to break it on a run.
Tillman brought down by Boswell. Of course, these 5-yard gains going to take you about 5 minutes to get downfield this
That's
way,
not the pass they want. They want to throw between 12 and 20 yards, right in that zone, behind the backers, in front of those safeties that are playing deep.
Vince Dooley trying to win his 182nd game. Berger deep sideline and goes to Gaines out of bounds, 28-yard line. That was a long throw.
And he's thrown an arm. He's shown his arm tonight. He's thrown a lot of nice passes, the 20, 25-yard zone across the field.
Georgia has a man down, and it's Larry Brown, number 72. Georgia has just been decimated by injuries this year, and Larry Brown in obvious pain as they are attending to his right leg. And they want him to stand up on it, and it looks like his ankle.
See if we can see how Larry Brown gets hurt. If there he comes in, he made that sack earlier. And now he tells the ref, I'm hurt. I'm hurt right now.
Somebody one of the Auburn linemen may have stepped on
right
him
on his ankle.
as he went after Berger.
And I said it earlier, I like to emphasize it because I'm not pro AstroTurf. I don't like that artificial turf very much myself, but that's the irony in this Georgia season. All these knee injuries, and they have not played on one surface other than natural grass this year.
Sometimes it just happens. There is no explanation for it. These have been freak accidents tonight where these kids have been hurt. Berger to throw. Auburn in a lot of trouble. Berger throwing deep sideline, almost intercepted again, but it's out of bounds. Williams made the nice play. The junior came over.
One of the tricks in a good passing game, and what Pat Sullivan just hasn't been able to teach Jeff Berger yet, is the ability to read his keys, to check down the receivers instead of pre-picking them in the huddle, which he's obviously doing right now.
There's Larry Brown on the sideline. They're working on that right ankle and taking it heavily over the shoe. 4:22 to go in the ball game. Georgia up by 10. Auburn 2nd and 10 inside its own 30. Berger with time, throws, and Tillman dives for it, can't get it to 40. Berger now 11 out of 23, 109 yards, 2 interceptions. Tim Brando has an injury update for us. Tim?
Mike, Larry Brown just sprained his right ankle. They've retaped him. They're retaping him right now. He should be able to return to the game without much of a problem. They checked it out thoroughly. They'll certainly need him down the stretch if Auburn is successful on this drive. By the way, a little footnote. No word from James Jackson. He has not shown up on the sidelines tonight.
Thank you, Tim. 4:17 to go, 3rd and 10. Berger to throw. And it's complete. It's going to be a first down. Trey Gaines makes the catch. If you joined us late, the quarterback James Jackson was injured all week, had an ankle injury. He's been bothered by an ankle throughout his career and was unable to practice, and then personal tragedy struck him as his grandmother, who was very close to him, died this week. He was at the funeral today and was given the option to come tonight or not. He was not going to start in any event because of his inability to practice this week. 4 minutes and counting. Jesse across midfield to the 49-yard line, very close to a first down. But this Auburn drive is eating up the clock. It's down to 3:45.
Well, at the opening of the show, you asked me, Mike, could Auburn just come out and beat teams like Georgia? Can they beat them with just running? And they have to set that pass up early, I said. Now they're waiting too long, and they're just giving them these short passes.
They'll call it 2nd and 2. Berger throws over the middle to Jesse, complete. It's a first down at the 41. But Georgia is going to let them have as many of these as they can get.
Particularly if they stop them from getting out of bounds. They don't mind these 5 to 8 yard passes in the middle of the field.
Keep in mind, Auburn has 2 timeouts left. They used one earlier. They'll flip it out to Agee, right through his hands and off his face guard, and incomplete. Just lost his concentration. Fullbacks have not been much of a factor tonight for Auburn.
No, they really haven't, and I know it's disappointing because he's an excellent receiver normally.
Take a look at Berger after this toss. Oh, really upset. Quarterbacks don't like to put it in the hands of receivers and watch them drop it. Berger now 14 out of 27, 143 yards. Georgia continues to go with that 4-man rush. Now Berger chased out of the pocket, deep downfield. Tillman, who fell down, got up and made the catch. What a great athletic move by Lawyer Tillman.
Well, 23, Greg Williams fell down too, who was covering him. Both of them slipped. They kept the balance somehow. Then we have a wide angle. There's a cover 3. Middle safety's out of your picture now. Corner at the bottom. He'll run a shake pattern again. Out to the corner. And watch, they both slipped. But Tillman got up a little faster and pulled the ball in. That big body, the defender couldn't get to the ball.
Great concentration, 29-yard gain. Auburn trying to get back in the ball game, down by 10. Pass almost intercepted. The ball thrown very quickly, intended for Scott Bolton and thrown behind him. Not a good toss by Berger. Either that or Bolton ran the wrong pass.
Well, they blew coverage. Georgia absolutely blew that coverage because Tillman ran into the end zone uncovered, and they had 3 people over guarding that short pass to the left.
There's Pat Dye. He saw it. 2:56 left. Auburn down by 10 and driving. They're at the Georgia 18, 2nd and 10. Berger's thrown the ball well on this drive. Going for Tillman. Touchdown, Auburn. Lawyer Tillman, their big play man, picks it off in the end zone.
Nice throw. Again, it's a case. You're down here inside the 10, around the 10-yard line. You have a 6'4" guy against someone that's only 5'10", 5'9" or 10. Who's going to win that most of the time? The big guy.
And Auburn will go for 2. They are down 20-16. You've got to like this call by Pat Dye. He wants to go for the win. No tie. Ferguson's Gaines in motion. Under pressure, and he's sacked. And it's Brantley on the blitz, makes the big play, and now Auburn, down by 4, will have to score a touchdown to win it.
Georgia just came up with the big play again. They blitzed, they gambled, they said, we're not going to give you this 2-point, you're going to have to earn it. And the sack couldn't be at a more opportune time. They've only gotten to him twice tonight, and both of them have been big. Look, untouched. The back blew the block on that.
Pat, the Auburn bench was trying to signal a timeout. Nobody on the field saw it. And we have a timeout with 2:51 left. It's a 4-point game.
I hate being sold. If I want something, I'll buy it. If I don't, okay. One time I got talked into buying this linen bed skirt. It's a sales girl. But something that costs thousands of dollars? I don't want to be sold something like that. I want to choose something like that. I hate being sold. That's why I bought a Saturn.
Now most Saturn models come with 5-year, 60,000-mile extended vehicle coverage or at least a $1,000 allowance.
Breakfast Club Toaster. Sonic's got it, others don't. Try a new Breakfast Club Toaster sandwich. Made with egg, cheese, tomato, ham, and bacon on Sonic's thick Texas toast. It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
Are the brake pads and shoes really guaranteed for as long as I own my car?
Yes.
What if I need additional work?
We'll explain it all before we do anything.
In a written estimate?
Yes.
Could you read that last answer back for me, please?
Yes.
Visit Midas now and get brake pads or shoes for just $39.95 plus installation. We'll provide a written estimate for installation and fully explain any additional work needed. For mechanics known for their work and their word,
Trust the Midas touch.
When you want to find her just the perfect gift, it helps to know the people who know diamonds. Zales Music Box by Lennox with the Diamond Heart Pendant, just $99. Zales, the diamond store.
If you know football, you know Lawrence Taylor, one of the most fearsome players ever.
There was no one better.
So what did Mike Wallace say to this big tough guy that made him cry? 60 Minutes on Classic, 8 p.m. Tuesday on ESPN Classic.
You're watching a 1986 SEC matchup featuring the Georgia Bulldogs and the Auburn Tigers right here on ESPN Classic.
Well, here's the biggest play of the night, the 2-point conversion. Brantley's going to make the sack, and 21, right on the left of your screen, just misses a block, the back, right there. Vincent Harris just went too far to his right and left an alley open, took him down.
We understand that Auburn only had 10 players on the field. That's why someone was trying to signal timeout. Maybe it was the missing man who was supposed to throw that block. Onside kick, yes, Georgia expecting it, high bounce, and it looks like the Bulldogs have it at midfield.
Trey Gaines ran off the field, number 19. He was trying to call timeout. He must have been the extra man.
That scoring drive for Auburn that made it a 4-point game was 99 yards. What a brilliant drive. They did it in 2:46. Get the touchdown to cut the lead to 4. Now Auburn has 2 timeouts left. And Georgia will be intent on the clock. They get a first down, it could be over.
It will be over.
Auburn's got 11 guys within 5 yards of the ball. And the option, Johnson hanging onto the football, lost maybe a half a yard. And Crane makes the tackle, gets up, calls timeout. We're down to 2:44. This is LSU's swan song in the Southeastern Conference for this year tonight. Clock stop with 2:44 to go. Auburn with 1 timeout left. It is a 2nd and 10 for Georgia. Auburn playing run everybody at the line of scrimmage. Only one man is back 5 yards. And they come with a blitz as Tate tries to get outside. He'll pick up 1, 2, 3, 4 yards. Good effort by Lars Tate to get that much out of it. And Auburn will apparently not spend its last time out right now. This is the play where they'll let the clock run, and Georgia will use all of it it can. They just mark it ready for play, and the 25-second clock starts. Third and 7. Approaching the 2-minute mark. Auburn must stop Georgia here to have a chance. Tate. They didn't get it. Stopped at the 43. Auburn signals timeout with 1:53 to go. And now Vince Dooley has really 2 options. He can go for it, or he can send in number 6, the man he's talking to, Chris Carpenter, to punt it. And after the last punt, you would expect Carpenter will come on.
I guarantee you they're going to punt this ball. They've had an excellent game by their entire punting team, but they've got to be careful of right now. They can't give up a block punt, obviously, and they've covered so well all night. The protection is the #1 thing right now.
You said they've had a great game from their kicking game. They have. They've had a great game from everyone. This is, having not seen every Georgia game this year, I may be overstating it, but certainly in everything I've seen, this is by far the best game they've played all year long.
And that really goes from the coaching staff on down. I don't think this is a game that was merely won on the field by players. I really think it was the game plan. They followed it throughout, and it was the right one.
You know, I couldn't agree with you more. And a lot of times that doesn't stand out, but tonight it was obvious by the play selection they had on offense. Excuse me, by the kind of things they did on defense. It's been an extremely well-coached team. The situation is 4th and 3 for Georgia. Auburn out of timeouts. Will they go after the block? They show 10 men at the line of scrimmage. The last time they came after him and didn't get there. Now they back out of it. They'll send 8, and Carpenter pooches it very high again. A great kick. Gaines signals fair catch. It bounces short, and Georgia will down it at the 6-yard line. Tremendous punt coverage and tremendous kicking by Chris Carpenter. A 37-yard kick, and he killed it at the 6. In case you joined us late, here's the way the game went. Auburn got on the board first quarter, 7-0 as Ware scored on a 4-yard touchdown run. And then back came Georgia. Sadowski on the 7-yard touchdown pass from Johnson. Then Crumley hit on 2 consecutive field goals. First to make it 10-7, and then 13-7. Then in the 3rd quarter, we'll check on it in a minute. 1:43 left. Auburn starts deep in its own territory. Berger dumps it over the middle, dropped by Fullwood at the 10. Probably wouldn't have gone much farther. Covered very well. Once again, back to how we got to this point in the scoring summary. 20-10 when Johnson scored on a 6-yard run. He has now run for 1 and passed for 1. That was Georgia's biggest lead of the ball game, and back comes Auburn on a 99-yard touchdown drive to score with 2:51 to go in the game. 2nd and 10, 1:39 to go. Berger deep over the middle. Tillman, what a catch! What tremendous concentration. The ball was knocked out of his hands. He got it back and held on. Holy cow.
Well, they squeezed it into that zone between the backers and the safeties here. You can't deliver the ball any better, and you can't ask a receiver to pull one down any better than this. He almost gets stripped right there, and he keeps his concentration and pulls it in.
Back to live action, and Berger throwing again deep out. Trey Gaines, he got it. And he's out of bounds to stop the clock, driven out of bounds by Gary Moss. Right now, Georgia has gone to its ace in the hole. John Little, number 19, the All-American Roverback, who has been switched to safety and injured several times this year, has come into the ball game to try to help Georgia's defense stave off the drive. And there is John Little.
But they're throwing passes right now that take him out of the play. They're going the deep out, the routes to the Gaines outside, and then to Tillman in underneath John Little.
1:20 to go, 2nd and 1. Berger has shown a lot of cool in these last 2 drives. Tillman, another great catch at the Georgia 45-yard line. Lawyer Tillman is putting on an incredible show. 8 catches, 126 yards on the night. He is something else. Clock is stopped as they move the chains. Now it restarts. We're down to 1:06. Auburn must get a touchdown. A field goal does them no good. Incomplete, out of the hands of Scott Bolton. The pass a little bit behind him.
It'll be interesting to see if, oh yeah, they're praying right now on the sidelines with the gloves. Auburn wants to get this game, obviously, but right now these receivers have to be tired, Mike, because they have not had to do this all year.
Yeah.
I'm sure they work on their 2-minute drill, you know, a couple of times a week, but they don't run pattern after pattern, deep. They just went 99 yards. Tillman has to be exhausted, and so does Gaines.
Berger now 19 out of 35, 220 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions early. 1 minute even to go in the game. No timeouts left for Auburn. They must get a touchdown. They're down by 4. Berger almost intercepted, and it is. Picked off by Boswell. And Georgia has picked off the 3rd Berger pass of the ball game, and it looks like the Bulldogs have pulled an incredible upset.
That's the first error quarterback Jeff Berger has made in these 2-minute drives.
And the Georgia contingent making the trip down here to Auburn. And there's Pat Sullivan talking to his very disappointed quarterback. And now Georgia will only have to kill the clock, and Johnson will lay on it. Auburn with no timeouts. They cannot stop the clock.
They tried to go another crossing route to Lawyer Tillman, but it's a shorter route this time. It gave the linebackers time to get down in front of the ball. Watch, they took the ball away from him. The linebacker dropped off, and what an interception. He pulled that in with one hand, dove, and caught it.
And Vince Dooley.
He tried to be cool at the beginning of the game, but he's let it go the last couple times.
Can't find a happier man there. We told you at the start of the ball game, Georgia almost every year has a major upset, no matter what level they're at. And tonight would qualify. Georgia just trying to kill the clock now. Auburn diving, desperate to get the football back. And that's going to be it. Georgia's not going to have to snap the ball again, and they may have knocked Auburn out of the Southeastern Conference Championship race. They have certainly put themselves back in position for a major bowl bid as Georgia's record goes 7-3. Now we have to wait on the Sugar Bowl for the Auburn-Alabama game on November 29th, and a lot of other bowls are going to be sitting there wondering what they can do to send out invitations.